I knew it was fate that Nernie and I were going to be together. He was born when I was going through the darkest days of being diagnosed with MS, when my health was at its worst. The doctor said, "Sell your horses," he said, "because you'll never compete again." I had no hope. And to me, without hope, there is no reason to move on. I was letting the MS win.
You're silly. You're silly.
It's only going to take a few minutes, but for anybody suffering multiple sclerosis, this is extremely significant. I wonder how many of you will remember a Paul Harvey newscast of March 6, 1992. It was then I mentioned an apparent breakthrough in the treatment of relaxing, remitting multiple sclerosis. Something called copolymer 1 had been developed by Teva Pharmaceutical. Listening to that broadcast was Laura Kruger of Appleton, Wisconsin. Laura suffered MS, was unable to work, barely able to walk, despairing, and ready to give up. After that broadcast, she made herself available for testing copolymer 1, and we have stayed in touch since.
I remember March 6, 1992, turning on the radio, and the words that grabbed me was Paul Harvey News, stating the biggest breakthrough in MS research in over 30 years. And at that point did he catch my attention. It was the first time that I had something to look forward to fight this MS. So I picked up the phone and I called the National MS Society. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call that I had been accepted on the program, and I was excited. I was ecstatic. Every day, Paul Harvey was part of my life. Every day, I was grateful for that broadcast. Every day, thankful that I listened to the radio. One day, I thought, I'm going to write a letter to Paul Harvey. I need to let him know what a difference he made in one person's life.
The information that cleared on that day Laura Kimball heard our broadcast changed her life.
Well, that was 10 years ago. She no longer has any symptoms of MS. 5 years ago, copolymer was approved by our FDA. And that year, 1997, Laura competed in NBHA championships in Wilmington, Ohio, and brought home to add to her collection another championship belt buckle and a new barrel horse named Nernie. Her letter then said, "Thank you, Mr. Harvey, for the announcement that gave me a second chance. I'm having the time of my life." Well, Laura, stay in touch. You inspire us all.
I remember so well when Laura finally made contact with my father, how humbly he felt an important part of someone's happiness. We had lunch together every day and discussed business, usually. But the first thing he said at lunch that day was, "I heard from Laura again."
I will always feel a special connection with Mr. Paul Harvey because not only of the information he gave me, but I really felt he cared. I was so devastated that I never got the opportunity to meet Mr. Harvey in person and tell him, "Mr. Harvey, I am truly, truly honored for what you have done for me."
Once in a while, a real happy ending comes along. And I think that that is what makes this particular story wonderful and unusual and memorable and something worth celebrating. The woman whose life might either now have been in shambles or have been over got it right.
I knew that in some way I touched his life as much as he touched mine. I mean, he gave my life a whole new meaning, a whole new direction, and I will always be grateful to him for that.
That's why we did what we did, bottom line. Not merely to talk into thin air, but to get it right. And this time we did.